Hello my beautiful magical beings, it is Dragon Slayer 15 here, and today guys, we are going to be starting Shinsou X Feared Listener Hanahaki AU. I don't know what to call this, but this is part 1. And without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? Hitoshi Shinsou walked out of Class 1B and waited for you a little ways down the hall. The two of you had hung out together after school ever since you met. And when you came to UA, nobody really wanted to talk to you. And you thought it was because of your quirk. Your quirk was called Bloodlust, where you could inflict high levels of fear and panic in a person, which gave you the ability to control them. You could make them do anything, or nothing. You could even stop all their bodily functions if you wanted to. And apparently, there was a rumor going around school that you had killed someone earlier in your life, which was not true. But when you thought about it, you thought about how, the reason you and Shinsou connected. His quirk was seen as villainous when he was growing up, and so was yours. That's why, at least he thought you were friends. Shinsou was torn from his thoughts, hearing your voice further up the hall. "Hey, Shinsou!" you shouted as you raced towards him. Shinsou walked a little closer to you, then asked, "Hey, listener, I was wondering, do you want to hang out today?" he asked as you continued to walk down the hall. You stopped for a moment. "Oh, I was actually going to hang out with Deku today. Sorry, Shinsou," you said apologetically. Shinsou shrugged. Don't worry. I know that you like him and all, so I get that you want to get a little closer. Huh? He said, giving you a playful nudge. You blushed and stuck your tongue out at him in a futile effort to get him to stop teasing you. He laughed and smiled. He saw Deku out of the corner of his eye walk towards the exit of the building, and he turned and shoved you towards him. You looked back, confused. Then Shinsou gave you a thumbs up. And you saw Deku and walked towards him and started to talk to him. Shinsou's smile faded as he watched you leave. He hated seeing you with him. He didn't hate Deku, of course, but he liked you a lot. And the fact that you were infatuated with Deku infuriated him. But he pushed it down and turned and walked toward the dorm rooms. He wanted so badly to tell you how he felt, but he didn't want to ruin your friendship. And besides, it's not like not confessing was going to kill him, right? After a few minutes, Shinsou walked into his dorm room and flopped down onto his bed, suddenly exhausted. Granted, he didn't get a lot of sleep anyway, but he felt fine a few minutes ago. What was going on? He lay there trying to figure out why he was so tired, when suddenly he felt his breath catch in his throat. He sat up and cleared his throat, but it didn't seem to help. He tried again, but that just made it even worse, and he began to cough uncontrollably, seemingly unable to stop. After what seemed like forever, he felt something rise in his throat. He quickly raced to the closest bathroom, shut and locked the door, and hunched over the toilet, hacking and coughing. And after a few moments, he stopped. He sat back, breathing heavy. What had just happened? He stood up to flush the toilet when... Were those flower petals in the bowl? And blood. What had just happened? What? He was so confused. Then he felt something on the side of his lip. He wiped his mouth to find blood and a single flower petal on his knuckles. He picked it up and looked at it. It was the color of your eyes. What was happening? What was wrong with him? After cleaning up, he went back to his room and Googled his symptoms. And according to the internet, he had Hanahaki disease. a disease caused by one-sided love, where the infected person coughs or throws up flower petals, and eventually fully grown flowers. And as the flower plant in their lungs grow, it causes the person to lose their ability to breathe, eventually suffocating them. The plant can be removed through surgery, but if a person was to undergo the surgery, all feelings, romantic or friendly, would go away forever. However, the disease could be cured if the person confesses their feelings and the receiver reciprocates those same feelings. Shinsou sat on his bed trying to think of his options. He couldn't pay for the surgery, obviously, but he knew that you liked Deku, and he knew that he couldn't force you to love anybody else. He sighed, trying to think, but his mind came up empty, so he decided to sleep on it. But sleep turned out to be completely impossible, due to the constant burning sensation in his throat and chest, and before he knew it, his alarm clock went off, signaling the start to a very painful day. He rolled out of bed and got ready and left his room and headed straight for class, but on the way, he caught you and Deku talking. He sneaked over to hear what you were saying. Deku, there's something that I've been wanting to tell you for a really long time, but I just never got the chance. Yeah? What is it? I like you a lot, and I was wondering if maybe you had the same feelings for me? Upon hearing your confession, Shinsou's heart sank, but he knew he had to wait to see if Deku would return the same feelings. I like you too, listener. I've actually wanted to tell you for a long time as well. Maybe we could go on a date sometime? Shinsou couldn't hear anymore. He backed away from the spot and turned a small corner in the hall. He waited until he heard your footsteps leave, and he sank to the floor. He wanted to cry, but then he felt a burning sensation rise in his throat, and he quickly got up and sprinted to the closest bathroom, where he coughed up more flower petals in the exact same shade as your eyes. A week passed since your confession, and it wasn't getting any better for him. He realized that every single time he saw you or even thought about you, he began to cough up more and more petals. Then, one day, you knocked on his dorm room door. He answered, but was surprised to see you. Hey, listener, do you need something from me? He said. You looked at him and crossed your arms. Why have you been ignoring me? You asked. Shinsou was surprised by this. I thought you wanted to spend time with your boyfriend, so I figured I might as well just let you go. You know, there's nothing wrong with this, right? But your expression soured. You know what, Shinsou? What's your problem with me, huh? Why can't we just be friends? Why do you have to be so weird around me all the time now? You're ignoring me? You don't even answer any calls or texts? What's going on? You said, and you stared at him, waiting an answer. Shinsou sighed, and just looked at you for a moment. Look, listener, I just don't want to get in the way of you and Deku because you guys seem so happy. And, well, Stop. You interrupted him. Listen, Shinsou, I care about you. You're one of my best friends, but lately, you've been acting so weird. Just tell me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's wrong. Shinsou remained silent. He couldn't tell you. Not here. Not now. Is it because you like me? He said. Shinsou stared at you, his eyes wide. Oh, so that's what it is. Huh. Well, you know what? Should have thought about confessing to me before I confessed to somebody else, he said, and he began to walk away. You felt someone grab onto your wrist and pull you back. Hey, let go, Shinsou. Alright? I've got a boyfriend. I'm sorry. But you stared into his eyes for a moment. Then you saw him begin to cry. Listener? You know what? Fine. That's perfectly fine. You go. You have a wonderful time with him. Okay? Just leave me alone. Alright? Shinsou turned away from you and tried to close the door, but you stuck your foot in the doorway. You know what? What is your problem? Look, you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't like you. Alright? I've only thought of you as a friend. For the whole entire time that we've known each other. That is it. I have never known you by anything other than a friend, Shinsou. So just get over it already, you said, and turned and walked away. And Shinsou just watched you leave. He could feel his whole world crumbling around him. Then a coughing fit consumed him. He slammed the door shut and raced to the bathroom, and hunched over the toilet, coughing harder and harder, until almost fully grown flowers spilled into the toilet, along with large amounts of blood. He stared at them and picked one up. His hands were shaking. He was so tired. But what was the point? There was no way of getting you back now. So, he figured that was it. And guys, that is it for part 1 of this video. If you liked it, please let me know it down in the comments. And also let me know... never mind, I actually already figured out what I was going to call it. Sorry. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!